Is Bardstown Discovery Series 12 worth the hunt? Tonight, we're going to dive into the flavors, the story, and whether or not this bottle belongs in your collection. Let's keep it simple.
Cynple whiskey, Cyncere. Here to keep it 100. What's the ABV? Keep it simple. Cynple whiskey. And be sweeter.
Welcome back to the Cynple Whiskey Show. I'm Cyncere, and tonight we're diving into all things Bardstown Discovery Series 12. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Cynple whiskey. Let's get to sipping. Bardstown Discovery Series 12, 115.2 proof, a blend of whiskeys from 6 to 14 years old, all from Kentucky. Retailing at around 140 bucks, it is a bit on the premium side, but does the complexity live up to the hype, especially when it comes to price? So a little backstory on this one. We were down in Kentucky a couple weeks ago, visiting a bunch of distilleries, staying in Bardstown. So of course, if you're in Bardstown, what else should you do? At least swing by Bardstown. We didn't have a tour scheduled for this one. We were headed to Buffalo Trace and I think Woodford that day, but the setup here was amazing. We got there, everybody was super friendly. The staff was extremely knowledgeable and they were brutally honest. There were folks in there that worked there that would tell you flat out, hey, I don't like this particular bourbon, or, oh yeah, I really enjoy this one. And I started talking to a young lady about this particular bottle. She mentioned they weren't allowed to purchase yet. I'm not sure how their purchasing rules go for them and when they're actually able to buy it. But she also mentioned that this one was gonna be pretty much gone soon. I don't know if that was a sales tactic. I've been in sales my whole life, and typically I don't fall for your traditional sales tactics. I immediately went back out to the bar area and said, hey, I need to get a sample of the Discovery Series 12. I also did get their Distillery Select bottle, and if you want to see a video on that in the future, leave me a comment down below and let me know. But long story short, I had a taste of this, a taste of the Distillery Select, and then a taste of the Amrut. I'm not sure I'm saying that correct, but this one won. This hands down was one of the better ones that I had that night. So I'm definitely gonna probably put this in a blind in one of the upcoming videos as well. But that's some of the backstory between how we got this bottle here. Enough story time, Sin. Let's get to sipping. Hey, yo, nice cork pop. So what does Bardstown say we should expect whenever we get a nice sip of this? On the nose, they mention cherry, they mention a woody oak note, they also mention a creamy vanilla, and they also mention hazelnut. On the palate, wood, sugar, spice, a lingering finish with coconut. Hopefully we can stay away from a little bit of that coconut. They also mention red fruit and caramel. Always down for something with a little bit of a fruity burst, and then that smooth caramel never lets you down when you get that on a bourbon. So let's see what we get on the nose. Do get a lot of that cherry note up front. It's really sweet. Some sort of a baking spice or some like baked. I know baked is not a note, but imagine someone's cooking like a cherry pie. Like it's a very fluffy baked note I get on the nose. A little bit of that vanilla, and yeah, the more I dive into it, I definitely get a lot more of that toasted oak note as well. Overall, very inviting. Let's take a sip. First sip of the night, definitely a little bit hot. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a very cinnamony spice heat kind of way. Again, I think it's 115 proof, 115.2 proof, so drinks every bit of the 115, especially on the first sip. Obviously, if you haven't warmed up with anything else prior to this, it's gonna be a little bit hot. But in terms of taste and flavor, right off the bat, I get a little bit of caramel, a lot of that wood note that I mentioned that I got on the nose as well, like the oakiness. I don't get as much of that baked cherry pie as I got on the nose, but I do get some sort of a burst of fruit right there at the beginning, and then on through the mid palate, I get more of that oaky note. And then something that's very sweet, not quite caramel, but like almost like a brown sugary note. and it mellows out a little bit on the finish to more of a nutty, not quite a Booker's or a Elijah Craig nutty, but kind of a nuttier note on the finish. Let's go in for a second sip. Much better, much smoother that time around. Heat doesn't completely go away, but your mouth is more acclimated to it. So sweet, just very deep. I like the finish on this. It keeps you wanting to come back for more. All right, so I want to add a few drops of water to this, see if it opens up any. Does it ruin it? Does it help it? Does it tamp down some of the spiciness you get on it? It should. So I'm gonna add a few drops of water to this and then see what I get on it this go around. All right, 5 drops of water added. And you see it lightened up slightly, but not much. Oh, on that nose, like a honey note that I didn't get before. Maybe that was that sweeter caramel note that I couldn't quite put my finger on, but with the water added in here, I get a little bit more of a honey note this go around. The vanilla and whatever that fruit is, like, I'm not even gonna try to guess, some sort of fruit note I get, but that vanilla, honey, and whatever that fruit note is come through a lot stronger this time. Let's see what it does on the palate. Night and day difference. No lockjaw from the heat. Super smooth, super sweet. The nuttiness rounds out now to like almost like a sweeter charred barrel note, but more mellow. Typically that would be a stronger note, but that's what I'm getting. I don't get that nuttiness that I got the first time sipping through without the water in it. Super mellow. It's actually really smooth. I recommend that you at least try it with a few drops of water if you do happen to come across a bottle of this, or almost any whiskey you get, especially if it's over 100 proof. Try it with a little bit of water and see just how it opens up and how much those flavors change, because at the end of the day, that may be your preferred method of drinking it. More often than not, it'll give you something different. Obviously, I prefer it to be as is out of the bottle, but sometimes you never know. So the overall purpose of the video was to find out, was this worth $140? And is it worth the hype that it typically receives? I didn't have last year's bottle because, again, they're $140 a bottle. They're allocated here where I'm at in Virginia. It's always tough to come across, but to answer your question, I think that this is a good buy. I will share this with multiple people as they come over. And if I could get my hands on a Discovery Series 11, since I heard that one was phenomenal, I would love to get a bottle of that and even do a blind tasting to see just which one is better. I think the one on my shelf had the maroon label. It's like 8 or 9 Discovery Series. It's been that long since I've got a Discovery Series. So this has me excited to start seeing them start picking them up as I see them. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells to stay up to date on all things Cynple whiskey. And leave me a comment down below if you've had this one or any of the other Discovery Series bottles. What's your take on them? Do you think that they're worth the $135 to $140 price range, and that's MSRP? Do you think that they're overhyped? Just let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. So I'll say that to leave you with this. Bourbon is more than just a drink. It's a reminder of life's complexities. And just like this bottle, life is a blend. A mix of the sweet, the spicy, sometimes a little bit of heat. And it's those layers that make every sip and every moment worth savoring. So whether your glass is half empty or half full, just remember to enjoy what's in it. And more importantly, enjoy who you're sharing it with and enjoy what you're sharing. Cheers to keeping it simple and meaningful. As always, keep it simple.